Hi everyone. I wanted to do this for a long time now, and it's time that I do this because I've gotten several conversations online about this. This is my house. I have lived here 21 years. It'll be 22 years in May. And we've all have been fighting this big gas bills. My house was built in 1947. And although it doesn't have the original windows anymore, at some point the lady that I bought the house from, Mrs. Powell, replaced the windows. Now, my house always feels cold during the winter months. And if it gets really, really cold, my house inside is cold, even though I have central air and heat. And during the summer, likewise. So I always get notices from Southern California Edison and ideas on what to do to save energy and all that kind of stuff. So this year, I went and got some bids on replacing my windows. I have 9 windows in my house. I'm gonna take you around just to see a couple of them. This is a big picture window. I like the window. I have been considering maybe doing like a 3-panel window, but I've decided to stay with the picture window because I love it. My living room is just on the other side. I usually sit right there on the corner. I can see out. Then if I go around the side of my house, I've got these windows. Now hopefully you will be able to see these windows are not the original windows, but as you can see, these are aluminum. And see, this is the aluminum frame. So this does not retain well the heat or the cold. So I believe that the windows, these aluminum windows, which were probably good for the time, are not helping my retaining the temperature that I need. Same thing. This is my bedroom. Of course, I have 2 bedrooms, so there's 2 windows more, 4 windows along the side. So I wanted to share this because I'm pretty anal. So I've been working on this since late November, and I kept calling people to get bids. I eventually ended up by calling 3 people. I had a conversation with one guy that kept telling me he was going to come to see, measure, and all that kind of stuff. We never followed through. I had one guy that I stumbled across online, and I actually did a 2-hour or an hour and a half online showing of what his windows were, and I had to measure the windows myself, and I actually liked his presentation. I was comfortable with the presentation, the windows that he showed me, because he showed me little vignettes of videos, plus he also showed me the actual windows online. And I was going to use him, but the manufacturer that he uses is someone out of New York. They have a manufacturing facility here in Southern California in Riverside. And again, I liked him. When it all came down to the price, his price was very reasonable, I thought. I actually went out and saw a couple of homes of where they had their windows in the various different homes. And there was one home here actually in my neighborhood in Los Altos that actually had the same windows, maybe a little less grade than what I was going to put in. But that's what the investor used on this particular home. So I pretty much had a pretty good idea as to what the windows were. I had one other guy who I had called. Actually, somebody on Nextdoor recommended him. I was super impressed with him from the minute I met him. Number one, he's local. He's done a lot of window replacements here in the Long Beach area and in my neighborhood. His office is in Signal Hill. He actually made an appointment with me for 8 o'clock in the morning, and he was on time. That impressed me to no end. And we had a long conversation. He's also a Milgard contractor, so that's what he will be installing in my house. So even though it's going to cost me a little more than the other guy, I like Milgard. Milgard windows are really very popular. They're very good windows. They have a lifetime guarantee. I like them. So that's the guy that I'm going to go with. Again, he was about $1,000 more. But here's the other issue that I had with the previous guy. See, I have awnings on the front of my house. Now I'm going to leave the awnings, especially this one and the one in the side window here. But there's awnings on the side of the house, and then there's one in the back, which I'm going to have him take off. The other guy would not do it. So that was really one of the added features of making my decision to use this guy. I don't have his card in front of me, but I'll put it in the post. His name is Douglas Lopez. And I think it's Residential Window Replacement is the name of his company. But he actually does have an office in Signal Hill. So one day I actually went over there and he showed me the windows that he was going to use. So I hope this helps. Again, as we're all fighting these bills, high gas bills and maybe high summer bills, window replacement, I think, is probably a good idea. I didn't do it for years because I thought it was going to be very, very expensive, like $20,000 or $30,000. To my surprise, it was less than $9,000. I'm okay with that. All right, if you have any questions, give me a call. Joe Mendez with Coldwell Banker Realty in Long Beach, California.